Hey, thanks for clicking on my face. My face is finally starting to feel a little bit better as my COVID makes a turn around the corner for better. I think I sound a little bit better today. And I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com. And this is a review of Pearl. Yeah, I'm a blind film critic. And I watch movies with audio description. And I unfortunately watched X without audio description, courtesy of Paramount Plus. Thanks, Paramount Plus. Your commitment to accessibility is unmatched in this industry. And I did rent Pearl from iTunes. So that way I could at least watch one of these fucking things with audio description. Because A24 films go to Showtime, which means they go there to die without audio description. Want to see everything everywhere all at once? You can watch it on Showtime without audio description. Because they suck. So I wanted to see at least one of these things. Unfortunately, I feel like I would have liked X better. I mean, I watched Pearl, I got it. It's got like a different vibe. I see what Ty West is trying to do here. With his little like connected anthology of this girl. And I think Mia Goth is doing some great work here in the horror genre, which is a genre that typically goes deeply unrecognized when it comes to awards, unless you're going to like Fangoria or something like that. But yeah, they don't usually. Every once in a while, something like a Toni Collette pops up, and people get really excited and they're like, "Oh my god, Toni Collette might get an Oscar nomination." No, she's not going to get an Oscar nomination. I mean, it was cool that she got like a SAG nomination for Hereditary, but no. Mia Goth isn't going to get anywhere close. She won't even get a SAG nomination. So, but at least she's getting respect. I don't know. Is that enough for Mia to be able to prove that she's got some range to her? I hope it is, because that's really all that's going to happen. I didn't really like Pearl. I felt like it was the backstory to a character. I didn't. Maybe because I didn't get audio description in X, I didn't have my full X experience. But X as a film was a little bit more of a straight up slasher type of thing. So I felt a little bit more connected to it. This one is a little bit more of a, what do I want to call it? Broken dreams? I don't know. I don't know what to call this. Unhinged. I also don't want to spoil it. So it's really hard to talk about the film and then also not spoil it. We see that Pearl has dreams. And maybe that's why she wasn't so keen on having a movie set on her lot, on her farm in X. So there's some of that correlation too. It's a little bit of an explanation. It works really well as a prequel, but I just didn't think it was the most interesting prequel in the world. So I think Ty West makes different choices, which shows his versatility as a director. But ultimately, I didn't think it was scary. I'm not entirely sure it was meant to be. There are some gory moments in it, for sure. As most horror movies have them. I feel like I'm trying to talk around. I just don't want to spoil the movie. So it's really hard sometimes talking about horror movies without spoiling them. Anyway, that's just my general vibe on Pearl. Just a couple of little takeaways. I think had I watched X with audio description, I would have liked X better than Pearl. But since Pearl had the benefit of audio description, and might I add the benefit of William Michael Redmond doing the audio description, which is always you've got a horror movie, you got to call that dude up. I don't care if he's busy. Just call him up and be like, hey, when you got time, we'll wait for you. You know, it pays dividends. He makes everything just a little bit spookier. Um, and that, I think, helped the film, which wasn't so obviously horror genre as X was. This one's a little bit more trying to show you the beginning of a character. It would be like if they made a movie about like the origin of Jason, but it was just like Jason and his mom, and then like some shit was happening even before he ever got to Camp Crystal Lake. You know what I'm saying? Like we saw like the unhinged nature of those two in a film that did not involve Camp Crystal Lake. Never saw him wearing a hockey mask. None of that. None of that ever happened. Well, Pearl is a little bit like that. It's like uncovering the killer behind the killer. It's showing you just Freddy Krueger without the Nightmare on Elm Street part. You know, just the terrible pedophilic angle to that character. It would be just showing you Michael Myers before he returned to Haddonfield for the very first time. It's an interesting concept, but we don't usually see that for our horror movie characters. We don't usually get to go all the way back to the beginning. Usually when we go back to the beginning, we just mean, oh, we're remaking the first film. And it's like, it's not really the beginning. It's the beginning of them as a killer, but something happened before that. And what Pearl is trying to do is show us, because by the time we see her and X, there's already references to the fact that she's done this before. The husband has already helped clean up before. So this isn't even the first time. They could have gone back and showed other times at the farm, but they decided to go all the hell way back to sort of like the origin of Pearl and what that would look like. And it's a very interesting idea. I appreciate it, but it's just not my favorite. I don't want to sneeze in this video, so I'm just going to say the audio description was really good. Usually is when William Michael Redmond signs on board. I think he usually makes sure his narration that he reads is pretty solid. And I think there maybe was a more interesting way of doing this. But Mia Goth, once again, delivers a really great performance. So that's something. And it had audio description. So I think I'm going to give it probably maybe around... I gave X a D+, and that's my grade without audio description. Admittedly, it would have been at least a C- or a C, maybe even a C+ with audio description. Somewhere in the C range. That's where I guess X is. But Pearl, this is a final grade because this is with audio description. So that's why I'm saying I think I would have liked X better. But unfortunately, Pearl gets the higher grade because I was able to understand Pearl in all of its fullness and gore and all of that loveliness that we like to have from our horror films. So in a weird way, even though I acknowledge that I probably would have liked X better, this is why audio description matters, guys, because it really can make or break a film. But I'm going to give Pearl a C-, just higher than I gave X, but potentially lower than I would have given had X had audio description when I watched it. So that's it. I feel like the A24 people are ganging up on me and they're like, he didn't like Pearl, but he liked bodies. Yeah, I know. You know, we're all going to have different opinions of things. Conceptually, I thought it had, I thought it had lots of possibilities and there was some good acting here, but ultimately I just didn't like the film I got. So this is what it came down to. So I hear there's one more of these coming next year. So we shall see where this franchise ends up, where this trilogy ends. That's it for me today. So if you could drop me a subscribe. I'm on my way to 100, and somebody went and unsubscribed. So now I need 11 again. I was at 10. I needed 10. Now I need 11. I guess somebody doesn't like the fact that I'm reviewing movies while I have COVID. Apparently that was not enough to get them to stay. They were like, "Oh, gross." Listen, I'm just trying to get a review out while I'm sick every day. So, if you could subscribe, we are in the final month, so I need 11. I need to get to 100 by the end of the year. That's my goal. It's totally reachable. I believe in you guys. And I have a website, activemovieguy.com. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know where you can watch these films. I did watch this on iTunes. I actually chose to rent this rather than have it sullied, as I mentioned, by waiting for it to appear on Showtime with no audio description. Paramount Plus through Showtime, or whatever you want to call it. They're all the same thing for me. And you can go to theadno.org and you can look up William Michael Redman and see what else he's been doing. That's it for me today, and I will review something else and catch you guys on the other side.